Hello everyone, my name is Josiah. Today I'm going to be going over how to do everything that you want to do, but without feeling as overwhelmed. Oftentimes, we have a lot that we want ourselves to accomplish. We have a trajectory that we want to follow and a North Star that we want ourselves to head toward. So we break it down. We think of the different goals that help us achieve that macro goal. So essentially we break down the macro into the micro goals and we try to fit it in our schedule. We set tasks, to-do lists, and we put it in our schedule. And what does that ultimately do? Sometimes we have the willpower to achieve it, but oftentimes with our busy routines, our set-in personality, possibly, it's hard to attain that. It's hard to feel that willpower or the inspiration and the motivation to go after that goal. Yes, you can have different hacks like habit stacking a goal on top of something that you already do, right? Like watching YouTube and maybe exercising, or on your way to work, you go to the gym. So implementing something on top of something else that you're already doing. We can think of those tricks, and those are great and those are useful. We can think of building a system, not having to use simply the willpower to push ourselves at the end of the day or in the morning to do what we want to do, but build a system to ensure that we take action towards our goal. So that means when we wake up, how does our environment look like? Is our phone next to our bed, or is it in the other room, for example? Or on your way to work, the gym is there, and therefore you know that every time if you take this path, you can get there. So instead of using willpower, creating a system. But I don't want to talk about that today. What I want to talk about instead is not having to feel overwhelmed, not having to put it in our schedule anymore, not having to have a to-do list, but simply know that this is something that we want to do. And therefore, anytime we feel that there's a moment to do it, we take action. Anytime there's a moment, we take action. It's a proactive mindset instead of feeling reactive and having to plan it in our day. How is that reactive? Well, it doesn't feel that throughout the day when you took the time to scroll in the bathroom, in the elevator, when you're waiting for something, why did you not choose to take action towards something that you really care about? The question stands, how do you feel the other 23 hours of your day when you're not taking action towards, let's say, being healthier and going to the gym? Why is it we can't take a movement break during work instead of feeling the need to be on our phone and eat lunch? Why isn't when we are using the bathroom that we can't use that moment to check in with how we feel and journal? Why is it we choose to scroll instead of to breathe deep into your diaphragm and belly? So it's being proactive throughout the entire day, being mindful of every opportunity to take action towards your goal, not being confined to your schedule, and then ultimately feeling dread when that time comes for you to take action. No, you settle that dread to begin with. You are always in the mindset of taking action, not just in that point when it seems convenient in your schedule. No, you're so inspired, you're so hungry for that next step that you've addressed how you felt. So yes, you have to address how you feel before being able to do this approach. You have to release the energy that wants you to scroll, because what is that energy? It's probably the feeling that you're not necessarily feeling accomplished in the moment, and therefore you want some sort of external validation. So the question is, why are you feeling lack? What I found for myself is maybe I'm not actually experiencing something that is a lack. For example, I'm not financially unstable. For example, I'm not eating so unhealthy where I need to feel like I'm overweight. Maybe that is you though. But in any case, the feeling of lack does not go away when you change your external circumstances. Let me say that again. The feeling of lack does not change when you change the external circumstances. The only thing that matters is not your circumstances, but your state of being. And therefore that needs all of your attention first, so that Sure, despite the feeling of lack, you can still push through, but what is that called? Willpower. And that's not necessarily sustainable. You're gonna come to a point where it's the boiling point or the breaking point, whatever you want to call it. At that point, you're gonna veg out. You're gonna want to relax too much. You're gonna want to let loose on all your restrictions. But in this mindset, it's not supposed to feel like a restriction. It's supposed to feel like a liberation from the feeling of lack, from the feeling that you're dreading taking action later on. No, you've addressed it. You can feel assured that you're going to feel accomplished simply because you're always in the mindset of accomplishment. You're always in the mindset of taking action when you can. So how can you give yourself any sort of shit? You can't. There's no room for it. And I know this approach is hard because it forces you to not give into your coping mechanisms that you've let loose for so long. But it's not to say you have to be perfect in any means, no. But 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 times, instead of scrolling, take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to bring your arms above your head and rotate your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your hips. Whatever it is, apply some movement drills that you know of. Maybe a squat, pull-up if you have access to that. Whatever it may be, use those moments instead of scrolling, instead of watching, instead of eating maybe. Whatever it may be, you stay proactive all times of the day. It's the goal. Not to be accomplished, no. Not to be more accomplished, no. To feel more fulfilled, to feel abundance, and to share that, to invest that abundance into your lifestyle. Because the goal isn't accomplishment. That's not sustainable. Remember, the circumstances are not what matter. It's only your state of being. And therefore, come from a place of love, address how you feel so that you pour that feeling into your second by second life. When you feel an instability, you address it, you journal it, instead of ignoring it, suppressing it, and scrolling. So once again, this method is to get everything that you want done without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling pressured, without feeling the constriction, because with constriction, there's going to be an overflow and some sort of implosion at some point. And that's going to trickle down into you feeling overwhelmed, feeling so much pressure that you explode one day. And you don't want that pressure to simmer. Stay proactive with your mind. Think about how you feel right now. And the next thing that's on your list of what you want to do for yourself, what is that right now? Is that just simply breathing? Is that getting up and moving? Is that making a healthy meal? Is that talking to a friend? Instead of choosing the next avoidance coping mechanism, do the opposite right now. Hope you found this useful. Again, my name is Josiah, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.